Hi everyone. So today we are going to look at the LeetCode problem number 242, valid anagram. It's an easy problem, and the problem statement says, given two strings s and t, return true if t is an anagram of s, and false otherwise. So basically, what an anagram is a word or a phrase formed by rearranging the letters of a different word or phrase using all the original letters exactly once, which means there is an string given as ANAGRAM. So we are having another string whose letters are just rearranged, like N and A. These two words, like the letters are rearranged so that a new word is formed. But these two strings contain the same letters, but these two are different words. So we are going to return it as true. And similarly, the other thing is there is a different letter present in the string, like RAT, but there is C present in this string T. So these two strings doesn't match, right? So we are going to return false. So the given constraints are string is going to be from length 1 to 5 into 10 power 4, and T is also going to be from 1 to 5 into 10 power 4. So those both are not going to be equal, and this S and T string contains only lowercase English letters. So I have taken an example of my own. Here you will see the difference, like, what the problem statement actually wants and what it says. So we have two boxes here. One is says seat and other says eats. So these two contains same letters, but these are rearranged. So it's going to be an anagram. And a word which is not an anagram is, well, the one which, like, containing a different word in the sentence or whatever. And there is another instance where the word is not going to be having an letter, like those two lengths doesn't match. And there is one more instance where we will be having multiple letters, like here seen we have two e's and here also we have two e's, but basically those both are formed using same number of letters and having same letters. So this let's analyze, like, how we are going to solve the problem. So first of all, we are going to check whether those both contain same length of letters. If they don't contain same length of letters, we are going to return false directly, because we know that however we check those things, as the letters are not equal, we are not it's not going to be an anagram. And there is another situation where the letters match, like there are equal number of letters, and it's an anagram, and there is equal number of letters but it's not an anagram. So when the lengths are same, we are going to continue to our loop. Okay, so the approach which we are going to follow here is we are going to use a dictionary method, which is going to basically store the letters, like their occurrence. So just let's walk through the approach. So initially the dictionary is going to be empty, and as the loop starts, for the first iteration, we see S. So I'm going to add S into the uh, dictionary, and I'm going to increment the letter S count to 1. And at the same time, I'm going to check the first index of the other sentence, like other word. And if it's an other word, so I'm just going to decrement that letter. So it says, let's say it's E, and E is not present in the dictionary. So I'm going to just add the letter E, and I'm going to just decrement the count of it by 1. And so we are going to move to the next iteration. In the next iteration, this contains letter E. So I'm basically going to just remove, like, I'm just going to increment it to 1. So it will move to 0, right? And here we have A, and we don't have A in the dictionary. So we are going to add A, and we are going to decrement it by 1, because this is the other which we are going to compare. And for the third iteration, we come here to this word. It as A. So I'm going to increment it by 1. Like not so it goes to 0, right? And for the third iteration here, we have T, and T is not present in the dictionary. So T is going to be added to the dictionary, and it's going to be decremented. Basically, I'm going to increment this word by 1 and decrement this word by -1. So for the final iteration, we have T here. So I'm going to do an incrementation. So it moves to 0. And here for the final iteration, it has S. So it's going to be decremented by -1, which is going to be 0. So the dictionary contains all the values of 0 for each and every key. So if all is 0, then I'm just going to return it as true. And if all is not equal to 0, then as it's false, we are going to return it as false. It's as simple as that. So let's try to code this in LeetCode. So we are going to take, first we are going to just compare the length of the two words. That is, if, if, yes, len of s is not equal to len of t, then we are just going to return false. That's what we saw out there. Now I'm going to move to the loop. So we are just going to look to the length of the one of the string as when the both of the length of the strings are equal. So I'm going to take for I in range of len of s. So it's basically going to iterate till the length of the string. And from here, I'm just going, before that, let me create an dictionary. Let's take it as a frequency table. So we are just going to measure the frequency of their occurrence. So here, initially, like I'm going to check for both the sentence, like both the words. For the word s, frequency of s of I. S of I is the one which is present in the word, like the letters of the word s. And if I have that s of I, which is the letter in the sentence, the word. So if I have that letter, just going to increment it by 1. And if I don't have, I'm just going to add 0 and increment it by 1. So let's do that. Frequency dot get of s of I. If I have that letter, I'm just going to increment it by 1. And if I don't have that, I'm just going to initialize it as 0, then increment it by 1. And for the other sentence, the other word, I'm just going to do the same frequency of I. But here, there is going to be a different thing. That is, I'm just going to decrement it by 1. So finally, as a loop gets completed, I'm going to do one final check for values in frequency dot values. So I'm going to check the values in the dictionary for the key provided. So basically, all the keys, all the values of the keys should be 0. So if values is not equal to 0, then return false. If the loop gets completed without any returning, then we are going to just return. Let's just try to run this. All the test cases got completed. If you want final submission, yes, all the test cases got accepted.